Dr. T just got its biggest quality of life buff ever since its rework. Stages 1 to 5 are way easier, plus you get the same rewards so you can still get as much progress. We also got some balancing, bug fixes, and some more levels to the Mystical Monument. Now since they introduced threat levels, once every player reached their limit for Dr. T difficulty, it was pretty difficult and a grind every time you face it. Cause who wants to spend half a day just grinding Dr. T just to get a meager rewards or go on leaderboard? Or even for low levels, it ramps up really fast. So you can see right here, we're starting threat 53, and stage 1 out of 7 has 2000 building health. But now in the new and improved Dr. T, still starting threat level 53, but stage 1 is gonna be way easier with a whopping 34 building health. Look how scary it is. And that's gonna be true from stages 1 to 5. It's no longer gonna be a grind, but now it can be kind of like before, just either force closing or using 3 times mode. And if you're at a high enough threat level, you still get the same rewards. And here we can jump ahead to stage 3 on the old Dr. T. Now it's actually a bit less building health than stage 1 for whatever reason, but still 1500 building health, still pretty annoying to get through. And even though a very small minority of people are already at 53, just want to show the insane difference, cause look right there, just under 200 building health. That's it. Now this doesn't mean that all of Dr. T is gonna be super easy. Like here, stage 5 in the old Dr. T, still around 2000 building health. And in the new stage 5, now it does ramp up at least a bit, going from like 200 in stage 3, now to 900. Because of this ramp up, again it's less of a grind to get those first few stages, and only the last two, stages 6 and 7, they're gonna be just as tough. But now when you look at stage 6 in the old Dr. T, alright, so about 2000 as normal. But then stage 6 in the new Dr. T, well, it looks like it's about the same, 2000 building health. So only the first 5 stages of the 7 are going to be super easy, but those last 2 are the same difficulty as before. I personally think it's a great change, because whether you're pushing the leaderboard or at stage 26, or even at low level at maybe threat 5 or 10, you can feel comfortable knowing that those first 5 stages are just going to be super easy. Kind of like the old Dr. T. But if you want that little bit of challenge, you want to increase your threat level, then those last 2 are still going to be just as tough as before. And the best part, the rewards you get on those first 5 levels, they aren't changing. So, super easy stages, same rewards, and that's the new Dr. T. And as a side note, if you're buying any shop offers, instant training, or boom pass, would appreciate using a creator code. If you want to support this channel, you can use code Stoneheart. Now for some other changes. A lot of people, well maybe some might like this, they're reverting back the flare change from the last update. So what they changed was, normally you can still flare right next to a building, but any spot on a building, whether it's on the right side or the left, the flare is gonna land on the middle. This also meant that sky shields were secretly buffed, because before you can pinpoint corners of buildings to flare even under a shield, but with the flare change, not anymore. But luckily the devs listened to player feedback. A lot of people didn't like the change, thought that it sort of removes skill from the game. So now that flare change is back to normal. Again, you can flare right next to a building, but if you notice where I tap, right side is still the right side, left side is still the left side, just like how it was before. Which also means sky shields are now unbuffed, but you can still make those unique plays, especially in things like warships. And another pretty big change is affecting both Kavan Second Wind and Remote Defib, because now resurrected troops cannot be resurrected again. So this essentially means that before, if let's say Scorchers die, we'll let those boom cannons, doom cannons do their thing. Then of course doing Second Wind just brings them back. do 3 times mode to speed it up. So if you do Kavan, let's say on the side, do a couple second winds, and it'll keep him alive because for once we don't want Kavan to die. And now what we can do is go ahead, let these 2 Scorchers die one more time, and keep Kavan shot because we know what he's gonna do. But as these 2 Revive Scorchers die, you can bring them back again. You see another second wind brings back that Scorcher, which is pretty good in attacks when you use second wind a lot, because your front line keeps on dying, but you can also keep on bringing them back. But now what's going to happen is, if you have some Scorchers that eventually die, Kavan can still bring them back at least right away. We'll do 2 second winds again, bring back a couple Scorchers, shock him, keep Kavan alive. I guess we'll shock him one more time. But when those Revive Scorchers also die, and then you do second wind, well, he doesn't bring them back. It's just pure rifles, as if those Scorchers never existed. I would say they're both pros and cons. Mainly a con because if you're using second wind a lot, you can't keep on bringing back that meat shield. The only pro side I see is if you already don't use second wind a lot, then sometimes you want to bring back bombers you lost ages ago, but instead you bring back rifles that already died. Because especially when you bring back Scorchers, there's always a bunch of filler rifles that in the old system are counted in new second wind. But generally, I do think it's a con, because those hits with Scorcher, Mechs, Lasers, Kavan are going to be pretty nerfed if at some point you can't bring back those Scorchers. But it's a change that's happening and we gotta deal with it. Maybe people finally use Kavan's other abilities. The rest are just some small bug fixes you can see right there. One of them being they're increasing the proto-token max limit to 1 million from 100,000, and also shards to 100,000 from only 10,000. Good news to all those hoarders out there. Plus we have some other changes we'll show right there. There's a small visual change to Sky Shields and fixing a bug with defense engravings. Nothing super major, but at least it's fixed. And finally, for those players in the endgame, we have 200 new levels to the Mystical Monument. Right now 500 is a cap, and the upgrades are still the same, can cost either resources or if you want to reroll. Sometimes it's diamonds, proto parts, even evil coins, which I never knew about. And the next visual upgrade, as you can see there, is at level 600. And 600 looks like that. I guess it's a bit cool. You got the rifle looking across with the gold helmet, and even a tank right there. And for those who don't know what the monument does, it's a bunch of small increases, which I guess add up. Resource production, even speeding up making buildings, armory, and sculpting. I don't even know if Deep Dive reward quality even does something. Could be just a placebo. And maybe that's new, statue quality roll bonus. It's only 1%, but maybe it does something. Who knows? But we did say there's 200 new levels, so the next visual upgrade is all the way at 700. And looks like when you upgrade to 700, you're gonna get a max of 35 bonuses, which I guess is pretty cool, but will take a while to get to. So that final upgrade, here's the new visuals, and that is still pretty cool. Got a bunch of tanks on the sides, a lot of gold coins right there, rifle raising his gun. And as far as these upgrades go, I mean, I don't notice much difference, but those are what you could possibly have. And for the 0.2% of players who care about this, you can't upgrade the monument right when the update lands. Instead, there's gonna be a timer, maybe a few hours, maybe a few days. And once the timer is done, then you can start upgrading the monument to whatever level you like. Of course, past the current max of 500. And as far as the update goes, that's pretty much it. Monument levels, some bug fixes, changes to second wind and flares, but the main one, of course, being Dr. T. Now being super easy for the first 5 stages, all with the same rewards. That alone is probably a really nice quality of life, but let me know what you think. But that's gonna be it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.